Hey guys, have you heard about this awful case about a beautiful 5-year-old girl called Amari from Cleveland, Ohio, sorry. So the story goes, and before I even get into it, I am going to say there is a trigger warning because I heard about this case this morning, and just reading and hearing what the mum had to say, I was definitely triggered. I still am. Like, it's so heartbreaking. So the story goes, not the story, what happened was Antavia, the mother, had to go into hospital for a medical procedure. Um, while she was there, she's asked a family member, can you look after my baby whilst I have this procedure done? This was her safety network, this, we all have them, so this is who she's asked. Now apparently this family member had recently moved into a new area, so she wasn't fully acquainted with its ins and outs, but her family member had asked for a favour and she obliged because it's what family does. So the mum's gone in for a procedure, and when she's come out or she's come home or whatever, the family member has contacted her, really panicked, saying, look, we cannot find Amari. We have looked everywhere for her. So obviously, as expected, Antavia, the mother, has gone directly to this family member's home. While she was on her way, the family member is obviously out in the local area. They're asking absolutely everybody, have you seen our beautiful baby girl? She comes across 3 children, aged 10, 8 and 9, or to be correct, 8, 9 and 10. We had to keep it simple. And she asked them, have you seen Amari? They said, no, we've never seen this little girl. We don't know where she is. Back to her mum now. Her mum has now arrived at her family member's home, and as she's got there, she's seen her daughter being worked on by paramedics. I know Americans call it something different, but we would call it paramedics. So paramedics are working on her little girl. She had blood in her hair. She had a big lump on her head. She had bite marks all over her body. She had dirt and sticks inserted into her throat and her private area. Her mum said she was unrecognisable. She did not recognise her baby. Amari was 5 years old. She was also autistic. The kids that she had asked, remember them? The 8, 9 and 10-year-old, remember them? Those kids had got a bout of a guilty conscience, so they've then gone to their mother and told them what they had done to baby Amari. What they had done to baby Amari was they lured her from her home. Remember, she's autistic, so she might be a bit more trusting. Do you understand? A bit more vulnerable. She is more vulnerable. They lured her from her home, took her by the hand, lured her into a field, and all 3 of them took turns in abusing this little 5-year-old girl. With all the things that she had sustained, they did that. The 8, 9 and 10-year-old, they did that to baby Amari. And then they told their mum, and their mum led Antavia to her baby for her to see her like that in the middle of a field with all her clothes scattered around her. They had also, strangled her with her own shirt, along with urinating all over her after they had done this to her. And then they left her and they went back to play with their mates, right? That's what these little children have done. And I am being so mindful, so mindful in how I'm speaking about these children, because they're children, yeah? Fortunately, and by the grace of God, Amari survived. They worked on her, she survived, and she has a long road of physical and mental recovery. Like, I don't know if she can ever fully recover from such a traumatic event. What's come out is that these children are known in the neighborhood for terrorizing people. In fact, one, the 10-year-old girl, because there's two girls and a boy, the 10-year-old girl is actually, there's an open case against her from where she's broken a 2-year-old little girl's arm before Amari, okay? These three children are known to the local area. They actually broke into someone else's home previously with their faces covered, subdued the children that were in the house because the adults weren't there, subdued the children that were in the house and robbed them. They are 8, 9 and 10. This ain't late teens or even early teens. This isn't adult. These are children. And the things that they are doing, is just my opinion, are learned behaviour. So I have a proposal. My proposal is, if by law, as the American law is stating, because the 8 and 9-year-olds are too young to face prosecution by their law, I believe that their parents should be held accountable by the same standards. I feel as though they should receive the sentence that their children would have received had they had been adults, because the way I see it is there needs to be some type of incentive for people to raise their children better. And even if they're not raising their children badly, they need to be more hyper vigilant when there are certain signs that your children are in trouble and need a bit of assistance, because mentally there is no way on this planet that you are going to convince me that an 8, 9 and 10-year-old of their own free will from a good home and stable background decided to do this to a 5-year-old little girl that they did not know. The only reason that I believe that they confessed where she was and that she was able to be rescued was because the family member asked them, which threw them a bit, so they got a guilty conscience. Because had they just carried on playing and nobody had looked for her for a couple of days, that would have been gone and forgotten about. That type of sociopathic behaviour, psychotic behaviour in small children, it is a real thing. I have seen children of the age of 8 and up do things that had an adult done, there would be serious consequences, but for their age they are let go. That is not okay. Her story needs to be told. Everybody needs to be talking about this, and some change needs to be done. Those of us from the UK, especially of my age group, will very vividly remember, and more so because it's never really left the news, the James Bulger case that happened in February of 1993. Just a quick backstory. February of 1993, there was a case involving a little boy called James Bulger. He was 3 years old. He went out shopping with his mum, and she basically turned away for 2 seconds, and two 10-year-olds lured James away from his mother. It shocked the UK. It really did. And that was 2 of them who were 10. These are 3 children under the age of 12. That means primary school years. This is what they've concocted in their heads. So my thing is, again, if we cannot, prosecute them with the full extent of the law, then surely their parents should be held accountable. And I'm not talking about, your son's a little shit and he's decided to become a drug dealer, or, he's been put on the block, or I'm not talking about that type of stuff. He's stealing cars. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when pure evil presents itself in children and there needs to be some type of repercussions. This is what I believe should happen, because maybe, like I said, parents will start taking more due care in their children.